What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Fiction Tea Reviews. Good vibes only. So the opening is very suspenseful. I mean, here we have this woman and she breaks free from this place, and then she's on the run and she has these ropes tied around her wrist, and you're wondering like what is going on right now. But it's super mysterious and it's also intriguing at the same time. It grips you once you first watch it. Then you find out she has this uncontrollable, extraordinary superpower, or this superhuman power. I watched the movie and I want to talk about different scenes in order. Like if something intrigues me, I write it down and I'm like, we're gonna discuss that. Okay, so there was a scene with this guy with glasses, and it really had to make me sit back and think like, why would they add this part? But I feel like they added this part because it showed this guy with glasses, and he's supposed to be like, you would think he looks like a nerd, typical nerd. He's nice, but turns out he is a scientist and he works for the government and he cannot be trusted. It really shows you how people think the clean look, because he had a button-up shirt, he had glasses, he had his hair like slicked, a certain look makes you more trusting, is what I got from that scene. And I think they added that scene to tell. I really love the runaway scene where she was like running and they played this music in the background. Like it really went well with it, and her in the running scene, it was great. They did a good job. So the colors and the hue of the sky, when it came to the scenes of the house, when they did the pullback shots, that was like exceptionally beautiful, to be honest. Like there were a lot of parts in the movie where they did that. They did pullback shots, and anytime you can get a good pullback shot, it really entire film without even saying anything really. It tells you a story and it says something without actually physically involving dialogue, which is like beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, to be able to do that as a director is like talented. that's truly storytelling right there. Like that's really storytelling, being able to do that. I was just like really impressed. I was like, this is pretty cool. Like I want to go out and make a film now. Like it just inspires me to want to make a film now. I mean, the women in the film also, three different ages, three generations of women. You have the older woman, the mom, you have her daughter, and then you have the young girl. And to have three generations and to have that different dynamic, and to also show what the relationship is like, how it was like super awkward when they were like in the kitchen, and how there wasn't really a close knit bond between the three of them, and there were different relationships shared between the mom and the daughter of the mom and her young daughter. There are different dynamics, and it really showed that a lot of the times without even, like I said, involving dialogue. And that is really truly art. Like there are times in movies where you're like, okay, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for character development. Does it have good cinematography? Does it have really good acting? Like I'm focused on this one thing when I'm watching this movie. I want to be entertained. Whichever thing you think about when you go to movies. But when you think about this movie, you're like, it's artistically pleasing. Like visually, like it's there. Like it's there. And storytelling wise, like it's literally there, all there. So it's a different type of movie, which makes it beautiful, I guess, because it's an indie movie and it's not like a big showcase movie. But I definitely would have liked to seen this more promoted. I don't know why it wasn't promoted. I mean, of course I know why it wasn't promoted, because I mean, it was written by a woman, but also mostly everyone in the film are black women, even though it's a, I believe, interracial relationship between the dad and the mom. And then also the film really showed, like, of course it's about black women and you watch it, obviously, like, skin color, but Honestly, when you really watch this movie, you see that, of course, like obviously, but it's not something you just keep thinking about the entire time you're watching a movie. You're just like, this is a dope sci-fi movie. Like, this is a really good movie. Like, and the fact that we have black people in it, that's even better. But overall, the movie is just good. The acting is just good. Not because they're this or that. Like, it's just good. I said I really love where there would just be scenes of visuals and sounds of music and pullback scenes of the environment, and they wouldn't even be talking, and you'd be like, this is actually beautiful. Yeah, it's poetic, honestly. It really captures the essence of a lot of the scenes when it does things like that. Like I said, it shows that camaraderie shared between the granddaughter, the mom, and then her mom. And also another thing, the scene with the young daughter when she was like fixing the car. I mean, first of all, I love that scene. I love the fact that they had the young kid and she was like super independent. She knew how to fix a car. Like, it's very impressive. But also, it was really beautiful how they had the blue and pink pastel background. Like, that was I love that entire scene. Like, I wish I was there to just take a photograph of it because it'll last longer. But yeah, I really like that scene. The jazz music in the back, the music in the background was just fit so well. I also love how the power was shown throughout the movie. Even though it was a little, I feel like if I was to add something, I would have liked to see more power. I'm going to talk about that a little later. But I did love how we got to see the power and they didn't wait all the way to the end to show it like they do in some movies. You anticipated, and it's like, oh, they have powers, but they don't really use it until the end of the movie. Whereas in here, it was like expressed freely throughout the movie. It wasn't just like some explosion happened at the end and they were just like, oh, I gotta get angry, I gotta use my magical powers now to defeat the enemy. It was just like, I'm kind of here using my magical powers throughout the movie, and the audience is seeing how they use their powers, how it's like natural to them when they use them, and how they're dealing with it in their everyday life. When the mom is dealing with the like earthquake shaking of her power, we get to see that and be inside of that, and it's real. There's a lot going on outside right now. Anyway, I question if we actually needed the drug addict mom storyline. I mean, there wasn't really like a whole backstory about that, but like, I question if we even needed that part at all. Like, did it have to be like they had to add that part? That part is really questionable for me personally. I was like, I don't think we need that. I really don't. Like, they could have kept that part out if I was to pick something. Yeah, that gas station scene, I just assumed like it must have something to do with birth, water, and her picking up her baby, finding it in the water, and her actually seeing herself and being able to go deeper in herself because she found her child, who's just basically a reflection of her, really. Even though they're two different types of people with two different types of power, it really helped her get her strength back by coming back, by being reborn through her daughter in some sort of way. I had that was my assumption, I guess. So again, beautiful sky colors. I really love the close shot when she was standing and it just like came up close to her face. You could really see her expression on her face, like the excitement that she got once she reactivated her powers. And yeah, that was a great scene. Although her awakening seemed quite soon, in my opinion, it seemed like it happened super soon. I don't know, like I feel like there was no anticipation building up to that, but that's just my opinion. But even though it happened, I feel like it happened like super soon. I did enjoy it. Yeah, the suspense definitely was there. I loved how in the end the mom kind of got away from the people, but at the same time, older generation sacrificed for the younger generation to come, and that was that was a message. That was a message right there. That was I like the undertone message within that whole thing, and how she even though she had to sacrifice herself, she still got away from them. I was like, okay, some sort of happy ending in a movie with women, with black people, with black women. I mean, I'm not just seeing unhappy movies. Yeah, so if I was to add one more thing to the film, it would be to see more power being used, especially when the mom activated her power. I would have liked to see her really use it, maybe in the end. But I also understand and liked how it wasn't a violent movie. Usually, like when people use their superpowers, they use it to fight against evil. And this movie wasn't about that. It was about family. It was about bond, the bond amongst women, and that bond with yourself. Seriously, like centering yourself. That's what I got out of it. But of course, I had to add on something because I'm a reviewer and a writer. And yeah, so if I was to add on something, it would have been to add more magic in the end. I don't know how I would have incorporated that, but at the same time, probably would have made it super stereotypical. And this movie is definitely creative and original. I haven't seen any movie like this, and it sucks that it didn't get the clout that it should have gotten, because it's an awesome movie. Like, it's really a good movie. It's really visually stimulating in a good way. Like, it's really a good movie, and it sucks that it really didn't get the push that it needed. And yeah, definitely go check this movie out. I enjoyed it. I really liked it. If you want to see something new and you don't want to see the same thing over and over and over, I really would encourage you and suggest you to watch this. Science fiction, drama, mysterious film. And speaking of science fiction, you can go get you a copy of the book Rain by yours truly, T. Outlaw. It is out right now. The link is in the description box below. It is a psychological thriller about kids, young adults, actually, not even kids, young adults in the psych ward who are trying to figure out, who feel like they're stuck and they're trapped in this psych ward. They're never going to get out. They become accustomed to the lifestyle. They become accustomed to the behavior and how they're treated. And then they get this new counselor who decides he wants to help them. And he starts to realize that this place is not what it seems. And it's starting to have an effect on his mental. And he's realizing and he's questioning whether these kids are actually crazy or there's something going on mentally with them, and how they're being studied on. And there's definitely some sci-fi elements in this as well when it comes to the power dynamics used in this. So this is definitely a sci-fi and psychological thriller. And if you're interested, definitely hit the link in the description box below. And I will see you all next time for the next video. Peace.